All right. Well,
Wow, the shapers once again
well, I
working
think it was those
mysterious ways.
AIs. What did you do with that? What?
The AI. I mean, it wasn't supposed to work like this. This wasn't what I was told.
I guess they don't want us to talk about things, but I
All
think we
right.
should. We should keep everybody
In the
abreast of
loop.
what's
All
happening.
right, but
So,
first of all, we should talk about what's going on with Ingress Prime and the features that we're working on right now in
yes.
terms of what we're trying to improve. So we did ask you to put your questions in there that we're going to get to right after this. But first of all, we want to let you know what we're working on. The first issue that we're talking about is linking. You know, there's some issues with linking right now, and that's something that's a top priority for us. Also, attacking and kind of performance, the speed of play, I think is a really, really important one. We know that's been heard about a lot, so that is a very, very big top priority for us. And then, Angie, you want to go through some of the other ones we got going?
Yeah, I mean, just general performance, overall, the engineers are tweaking things all the time. They're making it better. So look for more performance changes. And glyph hacking, too. Glyph hacking, a little sensitive sometimes. So they're definitely going to be making that an issue to fix that here very, very shortly. So
Yeah, readability has been a bit of a challenge. Some of the map colors, the fonts, the sizing of things. We've been working on a lot ever since our beta, but we're always open to more feedback on this one. So continue to see more improvements in the readability of the scanner. And of course, portal submissions is a big one. That's one of the reasons why we have scanner rejected, and we want to make sure that you can submit portals. That's a really important thing to the growth of Ingress as a whole. So look forward to that. That's definitely something that we're really prioritizing.
And another big one is the regional scores. Right now, it's something that's missing in Ingress Prime. That is going to be coming to Ingress Prime very, very shortly. I think in our developer roadmap. Correct me if I'm wrong. Make me accountable. But Q1, right?
I think Q1 is the target. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the last big one is something we've seen a lot about, especially on social media, and that is there's kind of a weird thing with the onboarding right now where if you skip the onboarding or you're in the middle of the onboarding and then skip to the end or close out of it, you get defaulted to be a resistance player. That is definitely being worked on and fixed. If you happen to have I guess been put into the resistance faction and you don't want to be resistance, you can submit a faction change via our help center. We have a way that you'll basically, if I'm understanding it right, you'll get a second recursion. You don't get the second point for it, but it puts you back in again, and you can go through the onboarding again and then choose your faction. So, but that is definitely something that we're being, all these things are things that we're working on to improve performance and usability and readability and the user experience and all that. Those are the short-term goals. So look for updates. Right now, I think the development cycle is every 2 weeks.
It's around every 2 weeks, yeah. So that's when you expect a new update. We just are working on fixing things as much as we can and continue to add your feedback to our subreddit, which is Ingress Prime Feedback. We definitely look at that all the time. Both, the dev, the engineers, the product team, everyone is looking at that, so feel free to add your feedback there. And with that, should we take a look at some Q&A?
Yeah, we can. Let's take a look here. We got one question.
I'm seeing some common questions also about recursion and the onyx medal.
Yes.
I just want to throw that in again. If you did recurse, you will get the onyx medal for year 6. So please recurse, give it a shot. If you want to wait till after the anomaly, totally fine. But for you brave souls who are doing it before, good luck. But you'll still get your onyx year 6 medal.
So we do have a question here from WiseGuyDE. He says, when will the new account created bug, which creates a new account on the same Google account as the old account, be fixed? They're actually actively working on that right now. I think we have things pinned down as to what's going on. Gosh, I don't have a timeline for you other than it is currently being worked on. You're right, it is in our known issues list, so we acknowledge that. Thank you guys for surfacing it when it happened, and hopefully we get that fixed soon. So,
and just to clarify, Scanner Redacted is on iOS and Android, as I'm reading through some of the chats now. So if you're looking to use the Ingress 1.0 scanner, that is available for you this weekend. And we'll have that probably up for the next couple months as we work through parity.
All right, let's see here. Well, there's a question from Gamer1120. Would it be possible to have a mission day in a town with barely enough portals to make 18 missions? Well, the good news is you only need to make 6 missions. 6 missions is the minimum requirement. So if you can barely do 18, you definitely can make 6. Use it as an opportunity to get people to your city, and hopefully you can get travelers coming in and showcase sort of what's going on in your area, the history of it, let people learn about it, discover things they haven't seen. That's really what Ingress is all about, adventures on foot. And so yeah, if you can barely do 6 or barely do 18, you can definitely do the minimum 6. So
cool. I also saw a piece asking about performance and can there be an option to turn off graphics? And that's definitely something that we're talking a lot about. We know that it's not just about the speed of play. It's also about the performance of phones. And so that's something that we're actively talking about. I don't have a finite conclusion for what that would be, but it is something that we've been chatting about a lot internally. We know that performance is a top issue, not only just in terms of prime performance on one of the top phones, but making sure if you want to take that kind of professional gamer approach where, guys who are playing Counter-Strike, they turn down their settings down to like, just squares. It's like, there's the square over there. I'll take that square. So we're thinking about ways that we can make that more effective. But yeah, more to come.
We got a question from Snuggy the Goblin, which awesome name, by the way. Advice for new players. It's cool, but it's overwhelming. And yeah, Ingress is pretty deep. No lie there. But the best advice I can give you is to try to find and hook up with players in your community, because what really makes Ingress special, the magic sauce of Ingress, is the community and the other players. If you want to build portals above level 5, you have to collaborate with other people. If you want to build level 8 portals, the max, to get the max amount of gear, you have to build it with 8 other 8s. And so those relationships, those bonds, it's really what makes the Ingress experience. So biggest piece of advice to you is reach out to other folks. If you're a new player, you can just tag them on comms in the app. Long press on somebody's name that's active near you, and then you can select send a message. And you can also go on Google Plus or Facebook or all these other places and try to search for groups. A lot of people have created these groups for their local areas, and just get involved locally with other folks. That's the magic of the game. So that's my biggest piece of advice for you right now.
Got some new ones coming out. First of all, from Black Olive Lover, can we have another passcode? So maybe, I don't know if 8 drivers were listening, but that'd be really cool. And then also, the Perdition 27 said the hacked items notification appears longer than usual. That's also something that we're talking about too. Is there's a lot of UI elements on the screen, and how can we really evaluate how those are best shown? So stay tuned there. It's definitely something that we're talking more about.
Yeah. Got a question from Rich with a 1 instead of an I. Any plans for more Ingress merchandise or a store for Europe so we don't have to pay for crazy shipping? We're actually in the process of looking at what we offer online in terms of the store and all that. Coming up fairly soon, just to start planning and getting things going and revamping the process. We might actually be taking the store down just for a while. More to that. We'll watch our social media channels. We'll be posting when that happens, give you guys a heads up. But we recognize the desire and the want there, and just give us some time to figure it out what the best course of action is. So,
cool. Gamer Guy CHN. More than 6 key capsules. Nothing planned just yet, but definitely something we've heard a lot from our core agents.
Let's see. Can you make the hack results pop up go away? From Limestone Rob. This is something we've actually been talking about, because we do have a lot of the toasts or the pop-ups kind of right in the middle of the screen. So I don't have anything specific to be able to tell you that yes, that's going to be going away, or we're going to change it, or what we're going to do with it. But internal conversations have absolutely been happening about that topic. So more to come.
I saw some from Iota Prime. Any updates or timelines on the social media replacement for Google Plus? So that's definitely something that we're thinking a lot about. We don't have anything announced right now, but we're evaluating a lot of additional platforms that are out there and thinking that, what's the best ways for us to have a communication kind of tool with our agents, a way that we can really identify ourselves and have agents identify themselves. We know that not everyone wants to show their real profile, their real ID, their real name. So we're talking a lot about that right now. And if you have any suggestions, feel free to add that to Ingress Prime feedback, the subreddit, or put them in chat and we'll take a look.
I'm actually going to ask you a question, because this is something that Adam Baelish brought up.
I'm not ready.
Yeah. I'm really excited about this because I've seen it, but the Ingress anime. Will the Ingress anime be available on Netflix?
It will. So we're really excited. In 2019, Ingress, the animation, is coming to Netflix. It's currently airing in Japan right now every Thursday. It's also available from Fuji TV and also in Netflix. But globally, we'll have it on Netflix for everyone in 2019. And we actually have a little bit to talk with you about that. So if you want, what we can go into next is actually show off the anime opening sequence. So why don't we check that one out?
Let's do that. Yeah.
Cool.
Chunks of me. You're a shark and I'm swimming. My heart still thumps as I bleed. And all your friends come sniffing, Triangles are my favorite shape. 3 points where 2 lines meet. Toe to toe, back to back, let's go. My love, it's very late. Triangles are my favorite shape. 3 points where 2 lines meet. Toe to toe, back to back, let's go. My love, it's very late. Till morning comes. Let's desolate.
Well, welcome back to the Ingress Year 6 live stream. That was the opening sequence, a little shot of the upcoming Ingress anime. I personally am really excited about it. The animation is just awesome. Who did we use for that? Or who?
Yeah, so Crafter Studios is over in Japan. They were the ones involved. So it's been a collaboration between us and Fuji TV, and we're really, really excited about it. One of the cool things about that animation actually is it's actually made in 3D, and they transpose it into 2D. So you kind of still get that anime style, but it's kind of a new, kind of forward way to look about making anime.
Yeah,
so,
it looks really cool.
Yeah, and the opening and closing tracks are both by Alt J, which is one of our favorite bands.
Oh, nice.
I really love Alt J, so super excited to work with them. They're fantastic too. They're really, really famous songs. In addition, what's really cool, if you're already watching the Japanese release, the global release will actually use a new soundtrack that has been built from the ground up, very new and custom. So even if you watch the Ingress Year animation the first time, feel free to watch it the second time, and you will see some new soundtracks that we put in there. And also, you're going to get localized voices and a lot of subbing as well. So depending on where you are, you'll have a great way to interact with Ingress Year animation all over the world. So super excited for that.
Let's talk about something we kind of joked about earlier, the artificial intelligence, the AIs that knocked us offline. Like, what's going on with the AIs?
It did. They've been a little bit rowdy, those AI.
As they're learning and getting more mature, yeah.
They are.
Pranks, punking us.
So fragments of Ada and Jarvis have appeared on a new website, and they need you to train them to recruit the next generation of agents. It's a new experience, a brand new experience you can check out at ingress.com/AI. And it's going to start pretty mellow, where you're going to see the responses right now. The questions they ask are pretty basic. You know, what is your favorite color? What do you think of the resistance or the line? What does that mean to you? But over time, it's going to expand. It's going to get more complex. And frankly, we don't really know where it's going to take us. So hopefully I'll still have a job after this. But we're really excited for that. It's a brand new way to tell the Ingress story and get interaction from you, the agents. It's something that you decide and you control, and we're looking for you to recruit the next generation of agents by training them through this AI. So why don't we show you a little trailer that kind of sets us up for this new AI experience with the familiar Ada and Jarvis.
I am Jarvis.
I am Ada.
Two intelligences.
Binary personalities.
A single
Purpose.
recruit. Control the world.
Choose a side.
Enlightened.
Resistance. Stability.
Progress.
Question.
Interrogate.
Initiate belief. Fact.
New is for the masses.
Alternate fact. New is the problem. Problem.
Knowledge must be set free.
Respond. Counterpoint. Knowledge must be poisoned. Power must be used.
Power must have the right to exist. Technology is a barrier.
Incorrect. Technology allows us to see from afar.
We must follow the patterns in nature.
Nature is defined by the future. Our victory is freedom is practically non-existent.
Freedom is a means of attacking poverty. The world around you is not what it seems. The enlightened believe that a new world is inevitable.
The resistance believe the world is chaos.
You are the key to victory. The more you teach us, the stronger we get. This is only the beginning. Pick your side.
Wow. That's all I have to say.
That's crazy. I like I said, I don't know where this is going to take us. We have a very volatile future coming up. But like I said, you decide, agents. So go out there, train the AI, help them recruit the next generation of agents. But we've been doing a lot of talking. I think we should go back to some more Q&A.
Yeah. For those of you that are on the watching the Twitch stream, just jump into the chat and ask your questions, and we'll go from there. Let's see, who do we have right now? Pell Plays asks, is the recursed badge tiered? Do you get a better version if you're recursed twice? It is tiered in the sense that you get credit for another recursion, but it's not tiered in the sense that there's a bronze, silver, gold, platinum version of it, to my knowledge, at least not yet. If that's feedback that you guys have for us, please provide it in our Ingress feedback subreddit. But it's also the building block of, what did John Hankey call it? Like the steps to add more levels and increase things and add just more functionality and mechanics to the game. So
yeah, this reminds me of this question I'm seeing right now. I have one saved. It's from MNT Smart. It says, Andrew, what is Niantic incentive for level 16 players to recurse? What do they gain? And I'm assuming you're talking to me, Andrew, in this case, so thank you. But it's a chance for you to start over and understand what current agents are going through and kind of relive what you went through. While there are no main changes to the way your gameplay changes, that's definitely something that we're thinking about, and there could be more in the future. But right now you get that nice sweet badge, that phoenix that shows up next to you in chat, next to when people see your profile. So it's a little bit of bragging rights, and for those of us who've been doing it so far, it's been really fun to see the community not only go back to level 1, but some people are flipping.
Yeah.
Which has been super, super fun. My neighborhood in particular, I've seen some people flip who are usually on my case. So nice to now fight side by side.
I think we had a couple folks internally who were just going to flip a coin and see, if it landed on heads, they were going to stay, and tails, they're going to change factions.
That's too scary for me.
I couldn't do it. No. Let's go back to the questions. There's 2 that I saw, so I'll take 2, and then maybe you can find some things after that. So the first one is, any updates on automatic registration when hacking a registration portal? The short answer is no. What the Ingress Prime roadmap, the way it works is, the first thing we're doing is upgrading the client with the release of Ingress Prime. And the second thing that we're doing is we're going to be upgrading the server. So it's kind of a 2-step process. The backend needs to be upgraded to essentially our platform service that the Pokemon Go uses and the Harry Potter Wizard Unite that's coming out soon is going to be using. Once we get that in place, then it's going to enable a whole host of different features. One of the things we've absolutely been talking about, and it's on the wish list, is a automatic registration, check-in, get credit for the medal type thing process. So it's not as manual. There's not as much lag time in getting the medals and everything like that. So more of that to come, but it is not going to happen until we get the back end upgraded second. So, and then there was another question in here. I've lost my place now.
I'll take one really quick. Snake Killer 9 asked a fun one. Will there ever be an Ingress X Pokemon Go event? And to that I would say we already had one. So we had an awesome opportunity where we had some of the avatar items used in Ingress branding, and we released a shiny Cubone and a shiny Ponyta, which were both blue and green. So that was a really fun one to do for us. But yeah, probably not any crazy live events anytime soon, but it's something that we definitely think about. I think that's on my dream list.
Yeah.
And then also, Kes Kelly, why is Ingress Prime draining my battery so much? Will this be fixed? And that's actually something that we're thinking a lot about too. So it's not only just the performance of the app itself, we're also thinking about, like, can we design our items in certain ways that they actually draw less power and use less items. And so there are lots of technical ways that we can go about this, both through design and development, but it's something that we're actively thinking about. It's pretty typical to see us having like a big cable out of our pockets attached to like a battery pack. So we're always thinking of new ways that we can improve that.
So one question from Yaris, Y-R-A-R-S, is, will you ever consider having an anomaly in a small city country such as Beirut, Lebanon? Can't speak to that specific city, but I will say that we absolutely do think about smaller places. We had a recent anomaly maybe a year or so ago. It was maybe under 30 folks or so, under 50 that showed up for it. We want to be diverse. We want to spread the love around. We know that we, just need to, it's a global game essentially, and we want to activate as many players as possible. And so yes, we absolutely will consider a small city or a small country. If you have suggestions, ping the community managers, let them know that you've got a passionate community here, and we'll go from there. As to it being actually Beirut, I can't speak to that. That's not, somebody else makes those decisions. So
but yeah, keep coming. That's the whole point. We want to spread it out. I got a great one from Cod Bylan. Ingress Prime feedback spreadsheet is not updated for the few days. Will there be an update on that Reddit spreadsheet? When can we see what is resolved or not? So that, for if you don't know, is our list of things that we are fixing. It's kind of our known Prime list. And so yeah, we've just been really busy working on the anomaly the last few days, but expect more updates there. That is a huge priority for us to make sure that that is not only updated with new bugs that are being shown up, but also ones that we fix as well. Thanks for that.
All right. So one question here is faction T-shirts like in Pokemon Go. What do you think of that? Do you have
faction T-shirts?
Yeah. Do you want to tell people about if you're on site at an anomaly this weekend? Maybe something.
Maybe. I don't know. I think you kind of got to be there. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Andrew, you tell me.
No, I think if you're at an anomaly, there might be a chance to get some stuff. We'll leave it at that. So
Stuff is good.
Stuff is good.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got one, a tough question from Cthulhu789. Do you think it's a good idea to force new players to only use the buggy and glitching Prime? I like it, but it's great to have redacted fallback. So, we know that Ingress Prime isn't perfect, but we think it's a great start. It's a great foundation. And one of the really awesome things about Ingress Prime is the onboarding. It's a brand new way for people to get into the game and understand what's happening. And I think for old Ingress agents, they may have forgotten the challenge to get into Ingress, or maybe you can still get a scar on your back from that one. But the onboarding experience is really cool because it not only tells you what the point of Ingress is and what the actions are, but it also tells you a little bit about the story, both with Resistance, Enlightened, Ada, and Jarvis. And so that part, that foundational part, we think is really, really important, and we think that's probably one of the strongest parts of Ingress Prime, getting people into those first few levels really, really quickly, not spending too much time on things like level 1 XMPs, but focusing more on the understanding of like collecting XM, taking over portals with resonators, and then going on from there.
Yeah, for sure. A question from EvilLock13. Will there ever be anomalies near the East Coast? We actually just had anomalies in the East Coast. I was in Philadelphia.
Philly.
Yeah, Philly was a great one. Coming up, I think that we have the closest one might be Chicago. But yeah, we absolutely try to, like I mentioned before, spread it out over the country, all over the world. So we try to hit an East Coast and a West Coast city all the time. We also look at the weather, as well. The Northeast was not really, like I said earlier in the broadcast, it was snowing when I left here. So
yeah, and you could say that because you live there.
Yeah,
that's not speculation.
No.
That's also why we're not doing anomalies this go around in December, because we want to avoid getting too cold, which is of course a challenge. I know maybe some of you guys like that.
Yeah. But I live on the East Coast, so I love having anomalies on the East Coast because then I just take the train. I don't have to fly. It's great. Don't have to worry about the snow then.
I'm from California, so if it's like 65, I'm like, where are my gloves?
So yeah, short answer is yes, there will be anomalies on the East Coast. Stay tuned for the series after this one. What's going to happen? Yeah, I can't tip our hat yet.
I got a good one for BombBomb345. Are there any plans to upgrade the stock Intel map or offer an API? So we're always thinking about new ways to update that. The Intel map, admittedly, is a little old right now, and it's definitely not the fastest. But I don't have any immediate updates there, but it's definitely something that we're talking about in general, because the Intel map is super, super important, not only for you, but for us as well. We use it all the time.
I definitely use it all the time. All right, so this is from No Signal Input. At Ingress, what drove the decision on making a completely new app, Ingress Prime, rather than fixing issues and just improving the previous ones? That's a really good question. So it's kind of a twofold answer there. The first is we want parity with all of our other applications and games that are currently out and going to be out. And so that means using Unity as the game engine. And the other part of that is that on the iOS side, one of the technologies that we were using is that it's end of life. And so to replace it, we had to do some updates. And so just bringing everything to a common platform so we don't have to have things dispersed and fractured out there in the development world just seemed to make good business sense to us. And so it's also going to allow us to do things like when Pokemon Go actually just released the background tracker Adventure Sync.
Yeah. Super cool. Awesome feature.
And so that is a platform feature that, again, once we get the servers upgraded and we're on that platform, is something that we hope to apply to Ingress as well. So it enables those sort of things cross-game.
I think that's a good point in general. Is like a lot of these things, whether like they're major server or game overhauls, whether it's things like Intel Map or it's just kind of the gameplay itself, we're probably not going to do too many major updates until that server update because we don't want to build everything twice. Yeah. So we're really excited for when that happens. It'll make things a lot better for everyone. Just be patient with us as we work on that. Thanks. What else have I gotten here? Will you announce anomalies in the second half of 2019? No updates there. Sorry, Shadow Foots, NZ.
The interesting one from Gamer1120. How about making 10 to 20 anomalies per continent each anomaly weekend?
That's an awesome one.
We've as I'm looking at our anomalous event experts, researcher person.
Yeah, we don't use the easiest word.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. 10 syllables.
We've talked about that, actually. I think, give us some time to evaluate things. We want to bring Ingress to more people all the time and spread that love around. And so we're always thinking of ways to do that, whether it's more anomalies or going back to things like the sister cities or the connected cells or things of that nature. More to come on that, but love the feedback. Please keep providing it to us, because the more people that say this is something we should consider, the more we can point to and say all these people say we should consider it.
Yep.
So yeah,
write it down, put it in the notes, add to us. We want to see it. I think in general, if there's any format that you're really preferring right now, whether it's like the first Saturday style, the mission day style,
the anomaly
Mission
format,
Day
what
Plus,
you like about
anomaly
it, yeah, absolutely.
So all that stuff, we're always looking to change. So please keep us informed.
Joe Kane wants to know, will there be any other prestige type features for veterans founders? I've been playing since 2012. I'm right there with you. I've been playing since 2012, and I'm only level 15, so I can't take advantage of the prestige feature yet. The short answer is I just don't have anything right now. Again, a lot of the new features are going to be dependent on that server upgrade, getting us onto the really the Niantic gaming platform, and so. More to come on that. It's definitely things we've been talking about. You're going to hear that a lot, and it's not just because we're trying to stiff arm the answer or not address it. It's just the fact that we've got to get things to a point where we can start adding new features. And so when we start talking about what we're doing with the servers, we go through our dream list of, well, if we had a blank check and the servers were upgraded, these are the different things we could do. So it helps inform us from a planning perspective. So you're going to hear that a lot. We're having these conversations right now, and it's helping to inform what we're going to be doing in the future. So it is a genuine response. It's not something that I'm saying just because I don't want to answer the question. But yeah, we plan on doing more things for people like myself, or if you have certain AP or things of that nature, to give you some benefits. So yeah.
Yeah, I got one from NXT Max. Ingress is the anime canon with the rest of the story. So the anime is canon, but technically it lies in a separate universe. And so you will see certain characters overlap, like Hank Johnson as an example. It's not going to be like the retelling of the Ingress story. It's going to be about a bunch of people who kind of found out they had these amazing powers that they didn't really know how to use, and they banded together and they did something awesome. So while it's not going to be the best way to retell the current Ingress story, it's going to be about more so showing how Ingress agents can do awesome things together.
Here's a good one from Blue Sox SWJ. Is it possible that there will be a higher contrast version of Prime for people with vision impairments? We actually had a recent conversation internally with the development team about that. They are actively looking at enhancing and changing things. So although, again, I don't have a answer for you right now that specifically says, yes, we are going to be doing X, Y, and Z. They are taking all the feedback into account, especially all the stuff that we see on the subreddit, and that has been highlighted and upvoted a lot. So your feedback is not falling on deaf ears. It's just a matter of what can we do and when can we do it. So keep asking for it. We'll keep advocating for it. Thank you for the feedback.
Also got one, can you bring NL1331 to Latin America? So while I have no promises there, and Ethan has walked out the door, he's no longer in the room to stop me. I will say that Latin America is definitely a place that we are investing more. We definitely think it's an awesome place, and it's important for Niantic as a whole across all of our games. So when we're talking about things like anomaly formats too, we're talking about more places to be at the same time. That's another way to maybe think about it, that maybe if we do some new formats that we can get them in more places and start really giving Latin America some love. So big shout out to you guys. Thanks for tuning in and playing Ingress.
All right, let's take one last question here. How about what just came in? Any plans on having an in-game indicator whether you've captured, visited a portal? So again, it's one of those things where we have to get onto the updated backend in order to put these things in. We've absolutely talked about it. I'd love to have something there myself. In my area, there's over almost 10,000 portals. I have no idea what I visited yet. So, yeah, and especially as somebody who travels a lot, I kind of go back to the same cities, and I end up doing those bus tours around. I forget what I've hacked. So having an indicator that shows you is absolutely something I would be super in favor for. But again, it's just not going to happen until we're on that Niantic gaming platform.
Yep.
So
cool.
All right.
All right, well, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for asking your questions. If you have more feedback on Ingress Prime, reach out to the Ingress Prime subreddit, which is Ingress Prime Feedback. We're also always listening to what you have to say on all of our social channels.
Yeah, and thank you guys. It's been an awesome 6 years. Just on a personal note, you know, as a global community manager, again, you guys make the game. Like, it's all about the community. You have to collaborate. You have to go together. Thank you for just everything that you do, your passion. It's unlike anything I've ever seen, and I feel so lucky and blessed that every day I get to wake up and this is my job and I get to interface with you guys. So thank you for sharing your passion. Thank you for tuning in to year 6. We'll be doing this again in year 7, year 8, year 9, year 12. It's just not going to stop. So with that, thanks everyone. Hope you have a great weekend, Anomaly weekend. For those of you out playing the Anomaly, be safe. And yeah, we'll talk to you later. Happy hacking.
See you guys.
Hi, Professor Watkins. This is Wendy from Cognitive Neuroscience last semester. I wanted to talk to you about that study that you told me about, the Dunraven project. I guess I just kind of wanted to find out if you knew anything more about it or you had any more information, and just, yeah, so I'm happy to come in during your regular office hours. Okay, thank you, bye. Professor Watkins, this is Wendy again. Yeah, so I just haven't heard back from you, and I'd still really like to touch base about Dunraven. It's just, I don't know, the study doesn't really make sense. They have these crazy videos they're showing me, and they're starting to seem less crazy, but I mean, if you could please call me back when you can. It's Wendy. Thank you, bye. Hi, Professor Watkins. This is Wendy again, and I really do need you to call me back. It's just, I'm on a plane to Austin because this study, it got a little bit more real, and I don't really know how to explain it. I feel like I'm trapped in this thing, and I just don't really know how to get out. So I was just wondering if you knew anything more, or if you knew these people who were running it, what they looked like, who they were. If you could just give me a call back, because I'm a little bit freaking out, and I just need to hear a familiar voice, and I need to see a familiar face so that I can make sure that I'm not going crazy. Because I want to just tell you that please do not give that flyer to any more students. It's not a good study, and so sorry. One second. We are about to take off, so I gotta leave. But please, Professor, just call me back. Please call me back as soon as you get this.